welcome to Falcon TV. It's Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. I'm Nadia, along with the rest of the Falcon TV crew. Lately, a group of gatekeepers armed with thermometer guns has appeared at the entrances of hospitals, office buildings, and manufacturing plants to screen out feverish individuals who may carry the coronavirus. Employees at some companies must report their temperature on apps to get clearance to come in. And when indoor dining resumes at restaurants like in New York City, later this month, temperature checks will be done at the door. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the practice of checking for fever has become more and more commonplace, causing a surge in sales of infrared contact-free thermometers and body temperature scanners, even as the scientific evidence indicating that they are of little value has solidified. Along with strict limits on the number of tables and a mask mandate for diners when they are not seated, restaurants will also be required to obtain contact information from one guest at each table. But while health officials have endorsed masks and social distancing as effective measures for curbing the spread of the coronavirus, some experts scoff at the fever checks. Taking temperatures at entry points is nothing more than theater, they say. A gesture that is unlikely to screen on many infected individuals and one that offers little more than the illusion of safety. While temperature checks may identify people who are seriously ill, those are the people who probably won't be socializing much or going out for meals. And a growing body of evidence suggests that many of those who are driving transmission are so-called silent carriers, people who have been infected but feel fine and don't have a fever or any other symptoms.
The testing at restaurants brings to light another fact. Adults who tested positive for the coronavirus were about twice as likely to have dined at a restaurant within a 2-week period prior to becoming sick, according to a new study from the CDC. Participants were asked questions such as how often they had worn face coverings in public and where they had gone 2 weeks prior to have shown symptoms. 71% of people who tested positive said they had always worn face coverings in public. The study found that both positive and negative cases reported going to gyms, hair salons, shops, and in-home group gatherings at about the same rate. But the positive cases were about twice as likely to report dining out at restaurants within the 14-day period before feeling sick. Masks cannot be effectively worn while eating and drinking, whereas shopping and numerous other indoor activities do not preclude mask use. The study also points out that many reported cases tied to restaurants have been linked to air circulation. Direction, ventilation, and intensity of airflow might affect virus transmission even if social distancing measures and mask use are implemented according to current guidance, the CDC notes. The study echoes concerns over safety in bars and restaurants during the pandemic. Many states have imposed restrictions on reopened restaurants. CDC researchers recommend continued assessments of the risk of various activities, especially as more schools, communities, and workplaces reopen. Implementing safe practices to reduce exposures to SARS-CoV-2 during on-site eating and drinking should be considered to protect customers, employees, and communities and slow the spread of COVID-19, the CDC said.
And if we had to keep our lungs safe from COVID, now many had to also watch out for falling ash. The West Coast cities face the world's worst air quality as wildfire rages, also cloaking the entire region in smoke. Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles have knocked every city in China out of the top 10 for worst air quality. Smoke from these blazes have nearly reached Hawaii to the west and Michigan to the east. Many in California are approaching a month of unhealthy air quality. The ash raining down on all these areas for weeks now, blowing into the cracks of windows and covering surfaces, have caused local officials to warn residents to stay inside and avoid outdoor physical activities. This event raises concerns about climate change. Scientists call the wildfire a compound disaster in which more than one extreme event takes place at the same time across a verified geography. While researchers have warned that the compound disaster are inevitable results of climate change, few would have predicted that the simulation rapidly expanded fire spanning the entire West Coast would happen so soon. Everything we didn't do in the past is now coming due in the present, said Charles Miller, a professor of environmental analysis and history at Pomona College. east of Los Angeles, but the warning of the planet and its impact of daily life are now difficult to ignore, with millions of acres burning in California, Oregon, and Washington state, leading to dozens of deaths, tens of thousands displaced, and skies filled with smoky, dangerous haze that blocks out the sun. And the ash could affect climate nationally and global in the coming months as well. That's all for today. So for me and everyone here at FTV, have a great day.